all evening, y'all. Made it to my next spot. I'm like, it is beautiful. It's like perfectly manicured lawn. And then over there you've got the cabin. And then there's a bridge that goes to the register box that goes to the trail. So I'm not sure exactly what they mean on far out. They said you can camp here, but you have to be out of eyesight of the cabin. But the only way you can camp here is by being within eyesight of the cabin. I mean, the only other spots are outside of the grounds, and outside of the grounds is the trail. So I'd be literally pitching my tent on the trail. So I'm just going to set up back in this far corner and hope that that's all right. Got my fuel up. Thanks again to Steve for the Kit Kats, and not just one Kit Kat. He gave me a whole bag of Kit Kats, and I am so excited. I'm going to try and make them last. I will try. There's no promises I'm going to make it last, but I'm going to attempt to make it last for at least a few days. Now it's time to relax. My back is sore. My legs are sore. Not like sore to the point where I can't walk tomorrow, but they are fatigued and they're ready for a nice reprieve. So on the other side, I wanted to show a quick rundown of my gear so you guys all knew what was in my pack, because I realized today I never really went over what was in my pack. So let's do that now. So this is everything. My pack is down there. So we'll go through from right to left. And you got the phone, of course, that's a natural. My little GoPro headband that I've been recording footage. I got my trekking poles, and multiple reason because my tent is a trekking pole tent, so I need them for multiple things. They've also helped me to not take a bunch of face plants, which is awesome. All right, this is all through this bag. So this is my gear, like techie bag, if you will. And for that, we have my knife sharpener. I have a Swiss Army knife, the Leatherman Wave Plus. That comes in handy if I need a knife or if I need scissors for cutting my nails, anything like that. I got compression socks because when I was in Montana, I got stung. My feet both swelled up, double in size, and I needed compression socks to manage the swelling. I got a compass because it's always safe practice to have one. These are wash wipes, so it's for laundry, and they're biodegradable, so you can use them in conjunction with like little washing bags, which I have. I just didn't bring them with me on this trip. So you just scoop up a bunch of like stream water, put one of these into it, and then you throw your clothes into the bag, and it's got little like ridges and ripples for his or her pleasure. Forget I said that, that's a bad thing. But basically that's what it is. And then all those little ribs and ridges kind of grind together on the clothing to kind of work out the smells and clean your laundry. And then I got an external battery, and it's got 4 inputs, and then it's got my charging thing there. And of course, the Manicrew special. I have to have this with me so I can keep my Manicrew Tramley look intact. And then this bag, which is charging cords. I have a ton of charging cords, and then 2 charging blocks, as well as a deck of playing cards, because having a deck of playing cards is great to have. And then over here, I got my inflatable pillow by Nemo. I've got a Bishop Pass medium hardware mountain. This is my sleeping bag, good down to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's been doing really well. I use that more as a blanket. So I actually unzip the whole thing and put my toes in the toe box and then have the rest of it draped over me like a comforter, and it works way better, I think. Then I have the sleeping pad here. It's a fold-out accordion style, and that works really well. I do not use an inflatable pad anymore because it popped on me once on the AT. I couldn't find the hole, so I couldn't patch it, so I was just carrying dead weight with me, and it just sucked. So they are very comfortable. Don't get me wrong. Sleeping pads are lifesavers. They're amazing. I just don't feel like dealing with it if it decides to pop on me again. So yeah, I sleep on this alone, and that is actually why the last few nights have been so rough, because my body is acclimating to sleeping on basically the ground. So it's finally getting there though. The last few nights I've been falling right to sleep. All right, next I have paracord. These are two 50-foot length sections. Now I use one of them for drying clothes out. I'll put up a trucker hitch line between two trees, and I'll tie up all my clothes on it, washcloths, whatever, to dry them out overnight. And the second one here, that's mainly to use with this pouch. So it's for my bear hang. This pouch, I'll put a stone in, and then I connect it to the paracord, and you throw it and lob it up over a tree, and you hoist your food bag up into the tree and tie it off. And if you don't know how to do that, I'd look it up. There's some really cool ways to do it. My favorite so far is the PCT bear hang, and it neutralizes any need for tying off to trees. You basically fling it up. When it comes down, you put your bag on, hoist it up to the tree limb, and then you do a clove hitch as high up on the line that you're holding as you can. You put a toggle, which is just a stick or something like that, into that loop, and it closes and tightens with the clove hitch around that toggle. That way, when you start letting your rope go, your toggle goes up, 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 as your bag comes down, 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 and eventually the bag and carabiner and the toggle will meet up in the middle, 15 feet ideally above the ground, and catch. That way your food is suspended the right height, and it's not relying on a string tied off to a tree, which I've been told and I've read bears are smart and they will learn. So if they don't figure it out the first time, they're bound to figure out that rope on the tree is holding your food up, and they could slice it and drop your food. So this is a way to neutralize that whole problem. That goes with these two then. So I always carry two carabiners. One of them is for doing my bear hang, and the other one I usually just have as an extra, and I use it to latch my flip-flops onto the back of my backpack. Let's see, what's next? Got a med kit, and that's just got your basics in there, things that you might need, like ibuprofens, stuff for anti-inflammation, because you'll get all kinds of inflammation out here as you're hiking all the time. Your feet will swell, the normal. If you have allergies, put an EpiPen or something like that in there, because you're going to want whatever you need. Your medications, that should all be in your first aid bag. Next up, toilet paper. So I have a roll of toilet paper in this little waterproof baggie, which goes into the side pouch of my backpack. I got a titanium digging shovel to make my cat holes to go pooping in the woods. Yes, you do have to poop in the woods once in a while when you're out here. Who would have thought? Then I got this stuff, which it only works a little bit. It's not the best. It semi-repels bugs, mosquitoes, and all that. And then I have this, which I put on my arm. It's a jogger edition pepper spray. So the only downside to it is if I get attacked by a bear, it doesn't have the stream distance as your canisters made for bears would have. So where the bear sprays that are made for it shoot like 20 feet, this one might only shoot like 5 to 10 foot. So really, it's only good for close quarters if they decide to try and eat me in my tent. So then I have at least a little backup that's on my arm at my person at all times, so I can just go tss, and then holler in pain because he probably already bit my arm off at that point. Here's my headlamp. So if you can, I'd get a rechargeable headlamp. That way you can just plug it into your external battery. And ideally, everything you have with you, electronics, should be able to plug into that battery, because if you can't get to towns or campgrounds that have electric, you're going to want a way to charge your satellite phones or whatever you're using and have it reliably, because you could also get stuck in the outdoors at night. And if your battery and your headlamp dies and you weren't able to get to town to get restock batteries, you're plumb out of luck, and you're going to be in the middle of the woods, freezing, terrified because you can't see jack diddly and your battery and your flashlight's dead. So I would say get a rechargeable, but that's just my 2 cents on it. Next up, that's my stuff. Next up, food. This is the amazing cherry jam that I just bought from Miller's store down in Blackwater, or I'll get the name right in post-cred, but this looks amazing, and I'm definitely digging into this tonight. Which goes to your food bag. If you don't have one, I'd get some kind of baggie for your food. And then I got this, which is my business card, connection card, and credit cards and money. And I just house everything in there. It's waterproof, watertight, and it keeps everything organized and not lost, which is good when you're dealing with money. Next up, we've got my 2 smart water bottles, 1 liter each. And then I found this on trail, a kukri knife, which I carry in the back, which has saved my life at the beginning of this hike, because the beginning of this hike for 30 miles was all bushwhacking. So that came in very, very handy. Clothing. I have a knitted hat, which someone made for me while on trail. So thank you, Miranda, for this. It has been a lifesaver. I have a lightweight pair of shorts for hot nights, or if I want to go swimming. I have a 3rd pair of socks, so I carry 3 pairs of socks. This one, the other one I was wearing, and then one that's usually drying out in the backpack on top somewhere. Moving over to here, I have my tent, which is an Outdoor Vitals Fortius 1 tent. Let's see if I can get that for you. Yep, Outdoor Vital Fortius 1. So far, I really like it. It's light, and it's comfortable, easy setup. The only downside is I didn't realize it was a single wall when I bought it, which is stupid because I should have known. And I'm using it as we're transitioning into fall with the cold weather drops at night. So the condensation I get on the inside of my tent every single night is ridiculous. I wake up, I touch my head to it, and I just get soaked. So that was not their mistake. That was an oversight on my part. But live and learn. That's what the towel I just bought is for, to wipe condensation down. All right, next I got my fire kit. This has different means of fire starters, like fat wood, birch bark, pine, all the good stuff. I have a ferro rod in here as a backup. I also carry 5 different lighters with me. It's always a good thing to carry lighters, because if something were to go wrong and you need to start a fire to stay warm, you want a surefire way to start a fire. I don't know if I said this one, but in the first video, day 1 and 2, I was showing this. This is your repair kit. You should have like repair glue, stuff for your shoes, repair tape that can be doubled as blister tape. I just used it for a blister on my toe. It worked really well. Earplugs for if you're stuck with people that snore. Sewing kit, thread. Your basic kit, but it should be able to mend most of your problems pretty simply. Next thing I got is a whole hell of a lot of liquid IVs to give me electrolytes on really hot and really painful days going up bad inclines. And then this is an Outdoor Vitals poofy jacket. Super, super lightweight, incredibly warm. This is one of their mid layers. I would like to buy one of their exterior heavy duty ones that's also like an ultralight version, but it's way more insulated. So that's on my list and radar to buy eventually. Then we got this, which is your InReach Garmin Mini. That is your satellite tracker. It's your GPS. It's your emergency. So if you get lost or injured and you need help, there's an SOS button on it, and it will shoot off into space, bounce off those radars up there, whatever you want to call them. And it basically just alerts park rangers and authorities to be able to come out and rescue you if you're in danger. So if you're ever going to do a serious multi-day hike, I strongly recommend you have one. They are very good for peace of mind to have out here. And there's another pair of socks. These are my new boots. They are the Zeros, the new edition Ridgelines, and I actually really like them. They're supposed to be waterproof, and they are to a point. But when you're trudging through tall grass that has been soaked, and you're trudging through it for miles, then it will start to seep through and get your feet wet, unfortunately. Or if you're just a clumsy blonde like me and you slip and fall into the creek, both are, it's not going to protect you from that, I'm sorry to say. So yeah, that's my setup. That's all the stuff I carry. Total, I think the gear I carry comes out to 35 to 40 pounds, maybe, somewhere in that range. But it fluctuates between how much food I carry. That's with my food weight, by the way. With food weight and the 2 liters of water, that's about what it's coming to. Oh, and I didn't say anything about this stuff. The MSR pot for cooking and a little Coleman fuel. And then inside of it, I have a little sponge for washing. I have the Peak, I believe this is a Coleman, yep. The Peak Coleman burner. I have a cloth in here, microfiber, for drying, cleaning up. I got a lighter in here as a backup in case I forget one. Never can have enough lighters. And that wraps up what I've had in my pack. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, DM me, or email me, whatever's easiest. But I'll answer any questions that I might be able to. Alright, so here's what we're gonna make. I still have a bunch of Mission Street Tacos, corn tortillas left. Still have a few things as cheese. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to fry these up on my pot, or in my pot. Get them nice and crispy and warm. Put the cheese on. I'm gonna eat them with the Chunk Light Ranch. I haven't tried the ranch yet, so we'll see how it tastes. But I have good feelings about ranch. And then maybe on top, maybe I'll put some Parmesan. Get all the carbs you can, fellas. All the carbs you can. All right, journal entry log number 6. September 16th on the MST trail. Today was awesome. It was a great day for multiple reasons. First reason, because of the people I met. Had an amazing time getting to know some new friends and exchanging information and all that. It was great. But you've already heard about most of them. The other ones were the owners of the Miller store. I believe Anne and Marianne. They were amazing. They were very hospitable. They helped me out. I was actually talking to them about some cool, fun ideas for when I get off trail. But they were really cool, really helpful. And yeah, the second part of today that was really good was that I can feel my body is finally acclimating, both in strength and just mental of being out here again. The first 3 days were the brutal part that were breaking me, and now I'm finally feeling like I've been broken in, and now actually I'm starting to feel very comfortable again outside in the outdoors. There's always that, like, if you take a break, there's always that weird intermission spot where you feel like hesitant to go back out. Like, you want to go back out, but I don't know. It's a weird mental thing for me, at least. I have to be out for like a week before my mental state will start triggering into my backpacker wilderness outdoor mode. So yeah, that's starting to switch. And my strength is also building, which is the other good thing. I just cleared like 3,200 feet of elevation today, over 10 miles. And in and of itself, it doesn't sound like much, but considering the fact that 3,200 miles was all between 3 hills, 1,000 foot of elevation each. I think the other one was 1,200. And each one of them was only over the course of a mile. So it was some pretty decent climbs. It definitely wore on my legs a bit. But that being said, it didn't annihilate me either. I feel really good right now. So I can feel the muscles in my body and my endurance starting to slowly build itself up to what I'm doing. So that is phenomenal. That means I can start covering more miles and covering more miles quicker with less fatigue, less pain. So that is a very good sign for continuing forward. I think that's pretty much it for today. Dinner was great. My belly is full. My soul is full of happiness. And I have, for the most part, tomorrow's route figured out. I can't go crazy far because once you get to the campsite that is 10 miles away, the only one that's next to that one then is a 6.8 mile jump, I believe. And I don't feel quite ready to do a 16, 17 mile day. Simply because my legs are tuckered from today, and I think I'm in one of the harder parts of the trail right now. They're not like super hard, but they're hard enough that I don't want to do a ton of miles. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down for the next like 100 miles. All right, so this is going to be a tentative plan, is to make it to the campground, the little Hackett Fork, and then if I'm feeling up to it, we'll continue on. That is our new plan. But sweet. That is journal entry number 6, and love you guys. I'm going to go and turn in because it's getting mighty damn cold.